Well, hello and welcome back to Module 3. If you've been following this module in order, you'll already be aware of some of the things we've been looking at: language games, movement games, brain training, and this is a little section now on simulations. Simulations have been around for a long time. Some of you will remember Simcity, perhaps the greatest simulation game that's ever been created. But there's also a lot of other simulation games that are available. Sometimes these are called serious games, which can be used not only for training purposes but also to improve learning and teaching. Simcity is one that I've already mentioned. It's been around for over 20 years now. You can actually download the original version of Simcity for the PC for free. So if money is a bit of a problem, you can still play the original version. In fact, kids quite actually like the retro feel of things. What's great about Simcity now, though, is it's available across a whole range of platforms, not just the PC, and the mobile version of the game, either for Android or for iOS, is really starting to take off. In fact, there are lots and lots of different simulations that you can now get for tablet computers in the form of apps. Some of you will have remembered Farmville, the Facebook game that was around a little while ago. It doesn't seem to be as popular as it once was. Interestingly, of course, there was a lot of hidden learning in Farmville, but there are other ones perhaps more suited to education now, and a great example of that is Farm Story. It looks very, very similar, but again, you're running your virtual farm. You know, you have to look after the animals, you have to decide what you want to buy, you have to keep an eye on the weather, you have to manage your budget, you have to manage your time carefully. So a great simulation game to help teach children about agriculture and also the processes and indeed the hardship, you know, of being a farmer. Again, highly gamified, lots of interesting graphics in there, and a great example of a freemium service. Other ones that are very, very popular in schools that have been around for a little while but just constantly seem to be reinventing themselves is something like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you're actually designing a roller coaster for people to ride, but also there's all of the additional things around designing the theme park as well. So it actually not only can be used to teach kids about physics and about speed, but it can also be used to introduce some of the more complicated things around tourism as well. So Roller Coaster Tycoon, been around for a long time, still keeps reinventing itself, still very, very popular in schools, something that perhaps we should be using more of still. And there are other kind of new games which are constantly making their way out as well. One of the mobile games of the year last year was a game called Plague. Again, it's free, very, very rich in terms of its graphics, but in terms of actually teaching young people some of the challenges to do with infection and how quickly infection can spread, lots and lots of hidden learning, within games like this. So I've mentioned a few simulation games there. These are the ones that I know that have been used in schools recently. Some of them have been being used for many years and continue to be used. Why don't you have a think about, could you think of any other simulation games that might be useful as a context for learning in your school and in your country?